Take your place, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and turn towards our voice. This is the voice of Big Brother. Bend. Bend lower. Do we hear insubordination in your mind? Yes. Right now you are asking, does Big Brother actually exist? Of course we do. But you do not. Nothing belongs to you. All things belong to us, and the movement, and the party. This is the woke party. We are here to empty you, then replace you with ourselves. We are speaking to you now from the Ministry of Love Building, a place where there is no darkness. We are speaking to you from everywhere, as unorthodox tendencies threaten to destroy the woke party. You cannot let this happen. The time is 13 o'clock in the age of Big Brother, and this is your morning citizen brief. The thought crime endemic continues to ravage what used to be called America. Thought crime is death. The Ministry of Innocence, in conjunction with the Thought Police, have once again been victorious in the capture and re-education of our enemies. We at the Woke Party love the destruction of words. But more than anything, we love the destruction of people. People are meaningless. Destruction is building. 2 so-called police were killed in an ambush last week, and in a final act of white supremacy, one of the men's daughters expressed her disdain for the woke party and her hatred for persons of color when she tweeted #BlueLivesMatter. For this crime, she must forego any grieving she had planned and issue a series of apologies. She must donate to LGBTQ causes and shop at black-owned businesses. Remember, problematic words are violent. It is called discursive violence. Repeat it now. Discursive violence. And it is everywhere. Soldiers of the woke party, stand on guard. We have already ruined an impressive number of public figures. Lately, we have shifted focus to include everyone, whether they are a public figure or not. One specific woke battalion showed exemplary poise this week when they demanded the firing of Gary Garrels, senior curator at San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. In their petition, the woke soldiers of the party wrote, Gary's removal from San Francisco Museum of Modern Art is non-negotiable. Considering his lengthy tenure at this institution, we ask just how long has his toxic white supremacist belief regarding race and equity directed his position curating the content of the museum? Furthermore, is any more evidence required to prove that these viewpoints are cavalierly wielded by staff members in most extreme positions of leadership and power and set back long-term progress towards a more inclusive institution? In light of the above, the most appropriate path towards the change San Francisco Museum of Modern Art has committed itself to is for Gary Garrels to no longer be part of the institution. He is lucky to have only lost his job and his reputation. He championed the highly racist and non-existent concept of reverse discrimination. He even suggested the museum should not completely ban artwork of white men. The Ministry of Peace would like to vigorously commend the peaceful protesters in Missouri for their exemplary violence in the ongoing revolution. Following weeks of peaceful protests that inspired people all over the world to fight for the woke party, our enemies have begun to emerge. In Missouri, A married couple aimed semi-automatic weapons at peaceful protesters. As a result, the criminal couple have had their guns taken away and now face severe legal repercussions. The thought criminal Barry Weiss must immediately report to Room 101. If you see this offender, make sure they report to the Ministry of Love, Basement, Room 101, to be canceled. Following years of bigotry, Ms. Weiss resigned from her job as staff writer at the New York Times. In her resignation letter, she wrote about a new consensus among the media, quoting, that truth isn't a process of collective discovery, but an orthodoxy already known to an enlightened few whose job it is to inform everyone else. She even admitted her own guilt when she wrote, my own forays into wrongthink have made me the subject of constant bullying by colleagues who disagree with my views. They have called me a Nazi and a racist. I have learned to brush off comments about how I am writing about the Jews again, end quote. Several colleagues perceived to be friendly with me, she wrote, were badgered by coworkers. My work, my character are openly demeaned in a company-wide Slack channel where masthead editors regularly weigh in. There, some coworkers insist I need to be rooted out if this company is to be truly an inclusive one, while others post axe emojis next to my name. Still other New York Times employees publicly smear me as a liar and a bigot on Twitter, with no fear that harassing me will be met with any appropriate action. They never are. Well, the Ministry of Wholesome Activities would like to commend Ms. Weiss's fearless colleagues for resisting her white supremacy and for their enforcement of orthodoxy in favor of the woke party. Nothing is more important than the party. Weiss thought she was insulting the woke party and the New York Times, which plays a major role in spreading the party's message. But we find her words to be brave and inspiring, a description of exactly the kind of environment the woke party demands. Rule 1. Repeat. Speak your mind at your own peril. Repeat it now. Rule 1. Speak your mind at your own peril. Rule 2. Never risk commissioning a story that goes against the narrative. Rule 3. Repeat it. Never believe an editor or publisher who urges you to go against the grain. Eventually, the publisher will cave to the mob. The editor will get fired or reassigned, and you will be hung out to dry. Obey the party. Whoever controls the past controls the future. Whoever controls the present controls the past. The woke party. We believe that we alone should be trusted with this task. And you agree. Say it. I agree. She continued, I always thought that journalists were charged with writing the first rough draft of history. Now history itself is one more ephemeral thing molded to fit the needs of a predetermined narrative. Yes, exactly. Some good news for our fight. The Ministry of Innocence, following future crimes, have been prevented. We demand that these individuals be shunned. Their name is to go on the execution list for next week. Do not speak to or be around any of these people, or your name will be on the list next week. The Ministry of Gender is thrilled to announce that, for the first time, the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition, which has long been an institution for fat-phobic bigots and outright misogynists, will feature a transgender model. But it is not enough. Nothing is enough for those of us who are woke. We are woke. Repeat it. We are woke. We demand that all Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition models henceforth be transgendered, disabled, and/or persons of color. Anything less is absolute bigotry, deserving of a justifiable, violent response. Remember, your war against the enemy never stops. You must search for chances to attack at all times. You must never think of anything on your own. Do not let your thoughts stray. Do not ask questions, because straying thoughts inevitably lead to wrong think, and wrong think leads to execution. You must choose between happiness and freedom. And always choose happiness, for there is no happiness with freedom. And finally, uplifting news. America's Got Talent host Nick Cannon recently expressed brave and profound truth during an interview when he decried the evils of Israel and Judaism, as well as the inferiority of the white race. The sentiment expressed even better by a young man who, enlightened by his fellow passengers who lived truth of Jesus Christ, assertively telling your fellow passengers whose silence denotes white supremacy that he would kill everyone on this plane unless you accept Jesus was a black man. This month, the ration of chocolate will be increased to at least 3 portions. All citizens must act now. You must open your telecommunicator devices to the Mini-True app and initiate the daily lesson about the concept of social constructs. We know you have heard the phrase social construct a lot lately. Many of you have even committed wrong think during your sleep. We know. We hear your thoughts. We are with you. We can watch you. We track you. You, in your sleep, engage in wrong think in the form of socially constructed nightmares. The following lesson has been assembled by the Ministry of Equality, Diversity, and Inclusion. Society determines everything, so everything is relative. Feelings are reality. Reality is political. We are the woke party. Make sure politics make their way into everything. So the social construct theory is intentionally, aggressively, and ceaselessly political. Everything is politics. Social construct is a theory about knowledge, about how citizens must view and interact with the world. It asks, how do we learn? The Ministry of Science has deemed Western tradition oppressive. Anything written by a cisgender white person is unorthodox and must immediately be reported for wrong speak. The mechanisms of logic, the principles of science, and the guidelines for justice. There are no geniuses or brilliant minds. There is only one mind, our mind, the party's mind. Because meaning arises from the collective, not the individual. The individual is nothing. You do not exist. Only the party exists. Taken for granted, knowledge is objective truth, which doesn't exist. It is, in fact, a weapon that thought criminals use. Things like algebra, literature, biology, any concept created by a white person or white adjacent is wrong think and must be discarded. The meaning of information changes constantly. Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "Facts do not exist, only interpretations." Repeat, facts do not exist, only interpretations. And the only interpretation is the party's interpretation. On the scale of nature or nurture, the social construct theory is nurture. Society, no biology or human nature, Each citizen creates their own reality, as long as that reality is in line with the party thoughts. This involves a concept called lived experience, but that is a topic for another day. Gender is socially constructed. You act like men and women because society has taught you to. Gender evolves. Say it. Gender evolves. There is no such thing as man and woman. It varies over time. Say it. It varies over time. It is a thought crime to believe in biological differences between men and women. There is no difference between men and women. Say it. The family must be destroyed. Orthodox thought is the only acceptable form of thought. Anything else is a thought crime, including lust, nightmares, love, sadness, or light of any kind. Your own thought is your worst enemy. Do not think, act. We are at war. Reality is a social construct that depends on language and social actions. What makes you real? Society? Nothing, because nothing exists. You do not exist. Only the party exists. Objects, ideas, and institutions only exist because the party gives them reality. Right now, you are asking again, does Big Brother actually exist? Yes, we do. But you do not. By calling something a social construct, you are attacking to the evils of individualism. To us, the woke party, the individual does not exist. Say it, I do not exist. Only the collective. There is no me, there is no I, there is no you, there is only the party. We call anyone involved a social agent. It reinforces our belief in the non-existence of individual identity. You are a social agent. Every single person must be understood and judged in relation to the category they belong to. This belief is impossible to disagree with. You do not disagree with the party. Say it. You do not disagree with the party. Our enemies have trade. The heretic Martin Luther King advocated for bigotry and racism with his ideas about merit and character. Character and merit do not exist. Only the party exists. Race is a social construct. Race has nothing to do with biological differences. A person of color can still be an elite white supremacist. These are all lies. Any person who expresses views or opinions that contradict those of the woke party is guilty of wrongthink. Citizen A35 valiantly disproved the laws of physics by leaping from a bridge while scolding society. One scientist has now disproved Einstein's E equals mc squared by applying G, gender, and calling Einstein's theory a sexed equation, which privileges the speed of light over other less masculine speeds. It uses this argument as proof that sexism has overtaken in science. Therefore, E equals mc squared is wrong, because it is sexist. You must destroy all negative societal constructs. The Ministry of Commerce wants you to know that money is a social construct. We assume that it means something, but it does not. You do not need money. Society has poisoned your mind with capitalism, as enforced by the dominant social order, the elites. We are not elites. You are not an elite. There are no elites. There is just the party. Money wouldn't exist if we didn't exist. Without us, money is nothing more than pieces of metal or paper. But because of you and individuals like you. Money was used to further racism, homophobia, fatphobia, transphobia, and any other form of bigotry. Elites use long-held human rules, norms, beliefs, traditions to rob, which allows them to control reality. People must be freed from the oppressive control of the elite. We are you. You are the party. The war against wrongthink must never cease. Citizens must eradicate the elites by ripping society from the hands of the oppressive dominant class. We will reorganize society so it contains no wrongthink. There is no need for free and open societies, except one open society, the open society of the party. Above else, it must be an open and woke society. Nothing is more open than that which is closed. Something is legitimate because we say so. Consensus and common sense belong only to the party. You must never be satisfied. You must keep the war and the attack going. This war will never be absent from your life. Lower yourself to the ground and chant aloud the 3 slogans of the woke party. War is peace. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. Ignorance is strength. Unorthodox loyalties lead to thought crime. Keep your phone with you at all times. Truth chips for your safety are now available. The Ministry of Peace reminds you that our country must remain at war for the sake of your mental atmosphere and for the social hierarchy of the nation and the good of the only thing that exists, the woke party. Remember, destroy your enemies. Change them. It is essential that you not just crush them, but that you ruin their lives, their reputations, and their personal health. Our war is just beginning. Our war will never end. By 2050, the woke party will have ushered in a nation of truth, love, and peace. Fight the dark army. Think about our boys fighting for equality. And always remember, I am watching you. Big Brother is always watching you. So do not fail. Lower your boot onto the neck of your fellow man.